People are always asking me, what is Gongfu Tea? And I hope that here I will be able to answer your questions, at least some of them. I can also do my best to answer questions in the comments below. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe as well. But basically, Gongfu Tea is making, well, tea, as this is what we'll be using here for example. Whoop! Making tea skillfully. And that can be very in-depth because this is started from Chinese tea ceremonies, or it can be very casual. What matters is you're doing everything you can to make the tea as, well, taste as good as possible. Now, the majority of people that will drink Gongfu will be using what's called the Gaiwan. There's 3 parts to the Gaiwan. This, and here, all 3 of these parts. And you will put the tea in there, and you put the hot water in the Gaiwan, and you brew it. And I'll show you that very shortly. You also will likely want a metal strainer or strainer of some sort. It's optional though. And to get into the mood, you may want a tea pet. Look at this guy. You gotta feed a tea pet. If you're doing this in a group, you'll probably want a fairness cup. And you're gonna want some sort of cup to drink from. Now, I am just by myself, so I got a bigger cup, but traditionally you'd get a smaller cup. But it doesn't matter, as long as you're doing everything you can do to make a tea taste as good as possible. Now let's take our tea. Again, this is the tea we're gonna be drinking. Take your tea, and we're gonna go ahead and put that into the Gaiwan. Now I'm using about 100 milliliter Gaiwan here. And I'm putting around 5 or so grams in there, something like that. Might be slightly more than that. Don't remember. Not important. You can be very willy-nilly with Gongfu Tea. It's a little more forgiving, honestly. Now we're going to put the strainer in our fairness cup. But the first thing we're going to do here is do a rinse. And that's where this little guy, the bubbles, the cat. Yeah, that's where Bubbles comes in. We're going to go ahead and fill up our tea with Gaiwan with hot water. This is 96 Celsius is what I'm using for this. And you're only going to let it brew. You're only going to let this brew for around 10 seconds. Now this is a rinse, so you're not actually going to be drinking this. And we're going to pour that into the fairness cup. You could just pour it directly out. I find this easier, and you're going to find your own things you do. Just like this, you slightly deviate. There we go. Now we're going to take the fairness cup, and we're going to go feed it to our tea pet. The guy is really thirsty, so let's go give him a little drink. And if we are lucky, we'll get some bubbles, but to be honest, this guy, I think it's time to retire them because I haven't been getting bubbles lately. But, you know, it's fine. But now we've done our rinse, which, if you've ever seen how tea is stored, you want to do that. But it also helps open up the tea, and it still tastes better. The first infusion, quite frankly, doesn't taste good, but, like, also look at... If you look how tea's stored, you want to rinse it off. Same thing with like rice and similar, but so we're gonna do one more infusion, but this one we're gonna drink. Now, traditionally, if you're a group of people, you'll be sharing this with however many people with you, like 3 people, 4 people. And Gongfu Tea is all about showing off your skills as a tea master to the people around you. You get to show off your, your tea, your brewing skills. That was very hot. Just a word of warning: Gaiwans will get very hot. Even these gloves. So do not hurt yourself. Take it at your own pace. You go a little slower. you'll get those chef hands. I mean, I have gloves, but you'll get those chef hands eventually as you, well, do this more. It kind of comes to the territory, except it's be like tea hands. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and pour ourselves some tea. Whoop. Now again, traditionally you would go from here into a bunch of different little itty bitty cups. We're not doing that here because, or I don't do that on my streams either, because, well, it's just me. It's just me. Hey, dear viewer, I will be sharing this tea with you. All right. So now that you have brewed the tea, all's left is to waft in the aroma, maybe put up to your nose, get a good sniff, and now take a good drink. Now, it is important to remember what this tastes like, because as we continue the ceremony, it's going to change. If you keep brewing more and more, it'll change as you go. But it gives you this wonderful color, which actually is coming on through the camera. That's good. And you simply can't get these sorts of flavors out of when you're brewing more. If you do a more traditional brew, you'll have a harder time getting these sorts of flavors. But doing it this way, you get to drink at your own pace, or your party's pace if you have a bunch of friends, and you get to extract the full flavor of tea. And take another sip. Now, if you were doing this normally, usually the cups you have is almost like a tea shot. But because I am drinking a whole party's worth of tea, I'm a whole party. Because we are drinking a whole party's worth of tea, it takes a little more than one sip to drink this. But usually it'd be like one sip, and then you get the next one. But let me finish this really quick. Delicious. Delicious. It really is good. Now, I'm like, oh, keep talking. Hey, woo! Add some more hot water to your guy Juan. Now let's get a bit of a closer up on this. Put the guy Juan lid on. And if you see that right here is what you're going for. You want to have a tiny little gap, and then you're going to go from here and pour. I don't spill like that. Oh, don't worry about that. I might have spilled, but it's off camera, so it never happened. Don't worry about that. Yeah, so just go to pour, and it goes for that little gappy wappy. And now we got a whole nother cup of tea. Pretty good. Let me see if we can show that to you. And we'll show this as well. Now, the color of this hasn't changed much just from these two infusions. But as you go, it will start to get lighter and lighter and lighter. Well, different teas are different, but this particular tea I've had before, and it'll just keep getting lighter and lighter and lighter. You'll get less of the harsh notes and more just a very gentle tea at the end. Now, one thing that's really cool about doing tea this way is you do not get tannins extracted for the most part. Whereas if you were to do, well, normal brewing, you would get a lot of tannins. Now you're like, oh, Daishima, what is tannins? Tannins is, if you ever had tea, brewing in a big mug or something, or a big teapot, tannins is the bitter flavor that's extracted when you're overbrewing that. Whereas Gongfu Tea, we are generally doing like these 10-second infusions. And that's just not enough time for the bitter parts to extract. So we just have this delicious tea, but we don't get to tannins. Now, maybe someone wants the tannins, that's a whole different thing. Do whatever you like. Majority of people don't want that. So we get this yum. So we, in a lot of short brews over and over and over, we get all the yums extracted, but not the bitterness. And that's where the skill in Gongfu comes from. You need to know what's the temperature you can adjust to, how long to brew. It's not hard. I'm telling you, it's really, really simple. But there's a lot of factors you can adjust to change the flavor. You can make it so the tea is a little stronger. You can brew it hot. You can brew it longer, lower temperature. There's so many factors you can do. And it's a skill. It's art. And you're showing off that skill to your friends or whoever you are surrounded with. For me, again, it's just me. Don't worry about that, though. Yeah, this is a very strong tea. Not my favorite tea. I did do a stream recently about my favorite teas, purple black tea. It's, oh, conveniently, I believe it's this one. Ha! Yes, this is my favorite tea here. But we're not talking about that right now. How convenient. It's right there. And your party has finished yet another cup. So what do? What do you do? Well, of course, brew another cup. Now, as far as equipment, you technically do not, or not even technically, you do not need a fancy electric kettle like I have. You can, quite frankly, get away with just boiling a kettle of tea and then filling one of those little thermoses and pouring out of that as you go. That'll work just fine. If anything, you can get away with almost nothing and having Gongfu Tea work properly. The only thing that really matters is you want some sort of small vessel so you can have a high ratio of tea to water. Now, again, this is around 100 milliliters of water. I think it's actually 8 grams. I typically do 5 grams if I have a choice. But I just use packaged thing. Compared to if you're gonna do a Western brew, it would be around 5 grams to 500 milliliters or 1 gram per 100 milliliters. So this is that amount for 100 milliliters. So it's understandably a lot stronger, but we're doing shorter brews because Western brewing, you do like 3-minute brews. Again, depends on what type of tea you're doing, but for this one, we are just doing 1 tea. Let's do one last infusion here. Whoop. We'd sort of go there and give you guys a good look there. It's pretty hot. Put that back. And I want to show you what this tea looks like now it's been infused a few times. Whoop. Beautiful. It's sort of opened up a little bit and is tasty all the same. Now, I hope that this sort of introduction of Gongfu Tea was useful to you. I try not to get too complicated with it, but if you would like a more weekly, regular thing, every Sunday I do a Gongfu Tea ceremony with the same setup you guys see here. Woo! All fancy with the gloves. And I also try to do video content like this. We're getting there. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you did, again, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and check out my other tea content. Like, I have a lot of tea streams. Go check those out. And I will see you in the next one.